Hello, everybody. I am so stinking excited to be here today. I am here with Anna Alt, and we're going to talk all things networking. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about all of the things. We're going to go with the flow, kind of see where the conversation takes us. But Anna, I am so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. It's nice to have an off day, I'm off. I call it one of my do nothing days that I can sit around and do all the chores that I tend to let go on busier days. Okay, so now I see us. Yeah, it is moving. Hi, everybody. The camera's moving. Nice to see everybody.
Love it. I love it. We are working with high level technology here, everybody, and we are getting it to work for us in the best way possible. So I love that you're here on your do nothing day, and I love that you have a do nothing day. That was kind of how I spent my day yesterday. Me and my two kiddos, they're 5 and 3. We were in Colorado for 10 days, and I drove up there with them by myself in the car. So it was 10 hours of driving with my two toddlers. I was so nervous. It was so scary. And we came back home, and the house still kind of felt like a wreck. So I was like, okay, we need to reset all of this so I can recalibrate and all this stuff. So I had a do nothing day. So I think that that's key. If you are an entrepreneur, a personal brand, a small, medium sized, large business, and you don't have days dedicated to do nothing and to do things at home, highly consider getting one. Does that help you a lot? Like, is that really pivotal for you, I guess, in life?
Well, I have undiagnosed ADHD and I go because when I don't, um I, I tend to fall asleep because I am so busy all the time. The moment I sit on the couch to watch TV, I'm out like a light.
Mm.
But I know that there are times that I need to just, when I say do nothing days, those are the days that I stay home or I choose to go do something that I want to do, whether it's have lunch with a friend or do a craft or laundry or the pile of computer work that I let go until days like this. But yeah, to answer your question, it's necessary for somebody like me that packs in so much. I never say that I'm busy because people are busy with what they want to be busy with. But I can guarantee you, if most normal people saw my calendar, they would be like, whoa.
And that's the thing because I work the same way. I pack my calendar. I like to be moving and being productive all the time. Whether I'm cooking breakfast for my kids, if I'm cooking meals, I'm also cleaning out the dishwasher so that I can load the dishwasher afterwards. Like it's about the multitasking, the prioritization of time. And I always say that you make time for what's important for you. And having this protected time specifically to do things that you love or to catch up on things that are going to allow you to have less of a mental load, I think is really key. And a lot of times people will feel guilty about that because there's other things they could be doing when really you're going to get so much more from having that protected time.
Yeah, I'm not one to feel guilt. I
No.
like my protected time.
Yes, girl. Oh, I love it. This is so exciting. Okay, so I know who you are. You and I have had conversations before, but tell everyone here that it's going to be tuning in and listening, kind of who you are, what you do, and then we can kind of get into our conversation.
Okay, so my name is Anna Alt. I was born and raised in the St. Louis region, so about 40 miles west of St. Louis in St. Charles County. I helped begin a company called LSL Finishes with my now ex-husband. We are best friends and we still co-parent and co-run the company. LSL Finishes is a design build general contracting company. So think kitchen, bathroom, we are in the process of doing our largest job to date, which is a bed and breakfast in wine country. And it's really cool. We're taking two grain bins and then frame in between the two grain bins. So there's one, two, three, 4 units in this bed and breakfast.
Wow.
Between the two of us, Dan and I have owned and operated about 7 businesses. And I always say that some are more successful than others, but even the ones that are considered failures, they're successes because we wouldn't be where we are today without them. Inadvertently, growing these businesses through for the last, I don't know, 20 some odd years, I kind of perfected the art of networking. and being a walking billboard for whatever business or organization that you believe in, that pays your bills. And so, a couple, 3 or 4 years ago, I started AMAC 636. It's a marketing company, branding company, where I teach people how they can use their marketing dollars um, to be to in a less traditional sense. So time is money. I teach people how to use their self and going out and about and simply showing up in the community to grow their brand or their business. And then I also, in the recent past, in the last couple months, I've gotten into more of the virtual networking. I still do mostly in person. That's what I believe in. That is what I have grown businesses doing. But I see the value in growing your network nationally because we have these amazing abilities.
Yeah.
So Profify It is an app that I'm really trying to get out. Words matter. I'm not really trying. I am getting out and about nationally because it's an app on the App Store that solopreneurs, mostly in the construction space, can use to know the health and wealth of their company. It's $45 a month. Anything like it is $300 to $400 a month. So think of your solopreneur, your painter that maybe he and an employee paints houses. They don't have the time, the patience, energy, or the finances to keep track of their business. This app will help them do that, and they will know at any given point where their business stands. So, I mean, I'm pretty proud. If you're recording this, send that little tidbit. I'm curious how long that took because I'm quite long-winded and I did pretty good there.
That was a
So,
great intro. Great intro. Yes, this is all recorded. Little fun fact for you and for everyone that's going to be listening. There is a website called Vizard.ai, and literally you can upload any type of content, whether it's long form, short form, whatever, and it'll go and analyze all the content and pull out the clips that have high levels of virality, and it'll add captions and all that stuff. And it's free. And you can do a paid version. So highly recommend that as well.
well,
Um,
Mackenzie, I'm not gonna lie, that's your expertise. After this, if you could go ahead and do that for me, and I will shout you out because
I
I
love
will
it. We'll
not
do a
be doing that.
collaborated post. We'll do a collaborated post. I love it. And we'll both knock it out. I got you, girl. Don't worry. So you're busy in the sense of you are so dedicated to the things that you're doing and you have a lot going on. So out of those 7 businesses, how many are still up and running today? Or all of
Great,
them?
great question. Our first business, so Dan was a union painter. He was a third generation union painter. In 2008, when the economy tanked, union work just stopped. And so we decided, oh, let's have a general contracting company. So we opened up our first business, Absolute Remodeling, and we had it for 5 years. I considered it successful at the time. I was a stay-at-home mom. We paid our bills. We went on a vacation once a year. But we had no business owning a business. Just because you're good at something does not mean that you should have a business doing it. I know.
Say it again.
Snaps.
Say it
Say it
again.
again. Just because you have, wait, what is it? Shoot. See, okay, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you should have a business doing it. So after 5 years, the work dried up. We had no business plan. We had no marketing plan. So we sold that company. Dan went to work for a design build firm where he learned the business end of owning a business. This was in 2013. He hadn't even had an email address before because he was pen to paper with contracts. He was handwriting checks. The clients were sending checks, and we literally we had no idea what we were doing. So we would do a job, we got paid, we paid bills. So about a year and a half later, we decided, okay, let's try this again. So we opened up LSL Finishes, strictly painting. Dan had learned the business end of owning a business, profit and loss, spreadsheets, things that people need to learn, whether they learn on the job or in business school.
Right.
Eventually, we bought a handyman company with a business partner. That handyman company turned into buying a over 100-year-old company in St. Louis, Masonry and Glass Systems Inc. That turned into buying a I'm drawing a blank. It was another company. So what is that for? Uh,
Mhm.
we had a side part of LSL Finishes called Dirtworks. So it was at 5, AMAX 636, Profify It. I think that's it.
7, yeah.
So to answer your question longly, LSL Finishes has been around the longest and continues, and it's the strongest. We've sold multiple companies. We've had uh, some big failures with other companies. So that's the answer to your question.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool to hear all of that, and I love that they were all related to each other, which is really super cool. But it this is just shows the journey and what it actually takes to get to the point of true success. It takes a lot of trying and quote unquote failing, which, like you said, I don't believe in failures either because you learn lessons or you gain experience for the gaps that you were missing whenever you started, and it makes you become the leader and the business owner that you are now, which is aiding into that success. So I think that's really, really cool that you all had all those companies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing that you had said whenever you were talking was about how you teach people how to use themselves, their personal brand, as their form of marketing dollars, right? How they can take their own personal time and use that networking strategically in order to generate leads, money, jobs for their businesses. So, as someone who is maybe multi passionate, that has multiple companies like yourself, at these networking events, do you show up just as one company? Do you show up as all of the companies? How would an introduction like that work if you are multi-passionate? Do you just pick one? Or maybe there's specific networking groups you show up to, like that are tailored? Give us some insight there.
That's a really good question. And I I think this is something that I've struggled with recently. Years ago, when it was just LSL Finishes, it was easy just to say Anna LSL Finishes, and we were the painting contractor.
Mhm.
As we started adding things, I think at one time I probably talked about too much. However, I feel like I got away with it in the beginning because, and here comes the cat. I knew that was going to happen. I thought that you would like that. Yep, there he goes.
Love
Uh,
cats.
I kind of got away with it because I had in the beginning, it was just LSL finishes. So I made a name for myself attached to LSL finishes and just, making a name for myself without it. So I was able to kind of add those things. If I were to say it today, probably not a good idea to just go into a networking group and say all the things that I do.
Right.
Uh, I'm afraid this kitten is going to knock down. There he is. I think if I were to just show up in the networking world, let's say that I didn't know anything about networking or I didn't find value in it because I just had a conversation with somebody yesterday who their boss simply does not understand networking, doesn't find the value in it.
Right.
I'm sure they did in-person networking and they did it the wrong way. And so then it didn't work for them and now they're against it. Anyway, so let's say that I came into the networking world, had never done it before. It would not be a good idea to say, hey, I'm Anna Alt with LSL Finishes, AMAX 636, Profify it, because then you're just inundating people.
Right.
Uh, so my advice would be pick one thing. I will say that when I have added the virtual side, yeah, I do want people to know that I'm somebody that you might want to at least listen to because I have grown businesses, but I
Right.
don't want to talk about LSL finishes because that's pretty regional. And I don't want it, what I'm trying to get out, which is this profify it at, like that's my goal. Uh, my goal is to get people to know that. My goal is to get clients nationally that I can teach them how to be a walking billboard. So I try really hard not to add too much. Is that a decent answer for you?
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think it helps because all of those businesses kind of all work together, So you, as the personal brand, are the vehicle and the voice for those businesses. But for me, I have a friend who she has multiple businesses. She does an event company, and then she does clothes folding, and then she does marketing and a bunch of things that are completely unrelated. So in that scenario, she would probably just need to pick either the one that's most successful or the one that she's looking to grow. Would that be right?
Yeah, for sure. I live and die by in networking. You do business with people you know, like, and trust. And also, I have always said I'm a terrible salesperson because I don't sell. Well, turns out I'm the best kind of salesperson because people don't want to be sold to. People do not care. And this is one of those times that I hope you use this little part that I'm going to say. People don't care how you pay your bills. They only care when they are ready to care. So when we had a painting company, I rarely talked about us being, I mean, I would say, hey, we're the painter of the group, guys. But I would shout out other people. I would talk about something interesting that had nothing to do with what I did for a living because people don't care how you pay your bills. So show up as yourself, and as you get to know people in networking groups, whether it's in person, virtually, setting up one-to-ones in person or virtually, that's where people are going to start to care that you have a folding, fold clothes for a living, not for a living, but you fold clothes for that 7 streams of income. Like, that is such a cool niche. But my guess is that's not really how she pays her bills. My guess is she pays her bills from her marketing company. I know plenty of marketing people. I don't know anybody that has a company folding. So, ooh, and help me out. Don't let me say so too much. I can't stand when I say so. It's those verbal oh, see, and the no so's, no It's how you show up that people want to get to know you as a person, because you
Right.
never know when your company decides to fold, you decide to sell the company, you get divorced and you move on from the company. When you are working for, like, let's say, a nonprofit, because in the networking world there's so many nonprofits that have people out and about, people care about you as a person.
Right.
You, if they know, like, and trust you, they're going to know, like, and trust the nonprofit that you are with, because they know that you're not going to be a part of something that you don't believe in. So
Right.
always show up as yourself and let the way that you pay your bills come naturally.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. And what's coming up for me is that I feel like a lot of times, whenever people, especially entrepreneurs or personal brands, people who are solo in their business or maybe have a very small team, they show up to these networking events under or through the lens that they are representing the business. And however they want their business to be portrayed online is how they need to show up inside this networking event. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I always say you are representing yourself first and foremost. My business card years ago, when Dan and I opened up LSL Finishes and I went into the networking world, he had just made some Vista print business cards that said my name and sales and marketing. I mean, I understood the concept of sales. I understood the concept of marketing. We just came up with something just because we had to. And my friend Jeannie Strickland, we met through a female professional organization called Little Black Book Women in Business. And Jeannie is a creative designer, and she took one look at my business card and she's like, "What is this?" Like, I know. And she said, "All right, you need to have a headshot." So there was a headshot happy hour. So I got my first headshot. Kim Michaelberger, she's amazing. Got my first headshot. Jeannie took the headshot and made much more interesting business cards. And when I showed Dan, he goes, "The business card is half your face. You know, you're supposed to be out and about talking about LSL finishes." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. What I have realized is people are going to learn and sell, or learn and buy from me, or refer because they like me, not because they know anything about LSL finishes." We were new to the networking world. Many people hadn't used us at that time for our services. So I wanted people to remember me. And so, again, this is one of those little snippets. I highly suggest, if you were in the networking world, have a professional headshot, have business cards that have your picture on it, because when you are out and about, people are going to forget what you do, but they're going to remember your face. So when they look at the business cards, they're like, oh yeah, I remember talking to her. So
Oh, I love it. And it's so funny with your husband's response about this. You're supposed to be talking about the business. That was almost 100% exactly the same response that I got from my husband whenever I had, within the past year, when I just had my brand new website redone. It's mackenziemorris.co, right? So this is my personal branded website, a website you can go and find all of my projects, everything that I do, everything about me. He's like, wow, you go to your website and your face is just right there. I'm like, I wouldn't expect your face to be on there. I said, it's mackenziemorris.co. What do you think is going to be on there? This is my website. What do you mean? Right? And it's so funny because some people just don't make those connections.
they don't.
And it can be really scary to stand out. For instance, my business card that I have, it is a handwritten signature on the front that says Mackenzie Morris. It has my old wedding brand like heart. It's an M with like a heart under it behind it. So it's really cool and overlaid. And then
Do you
whenever
mean right behind you? Is that what you mean?
no, so this is my like signature Mackenzie Morris, but I don't have one. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm gonna be extra. Hold on. Because your girl's got assets, okay? It was this. My M and my heart behind me. And that was my logo for my wedding company. And that was behind it. And then when you flipped it over, it was a picture, a full body picture of me shooting like popping the cork off a champagne glass. And then it had all my information. And it was a square. So it was totally different and easy to remember.
I
Mm.
love the idea of the popping the cork and having that information. That's so cool.
It was fun and it was different and yeah, it's just I try to find ways to stay authentic to who I am and to be a little bit different. So yeah, that was definitely one way I did it. But it's so funny how people can look at networking in such different ways and see the value completely differently, which is so interesting. Okay, so now moving forward, talking about how to make connections and introductions at the networking events. You had said whenever you get up and you introduce yourself, you casually just kind of mention that maybe you're the painter of the group, and then you would say something else. Would that be maybe something interesting like your family, or maybe like piggybacking off a story that someone else said that maybe made you think of something? Tell me a little bit about that.
So I'm going way back in the memory bank of the days that I was fairly new to networking. So there I go again with the so. Uh, All Stars was a weekly networking group that I was a part of years ago, and LSL Finishes is still a part of it. Category exclusive weekly networking group, similar to the BNI mindset, but it was a free group, and the commitment was showing up every week. If you can't show up, get a substitute. And it was traditionally networking groups are about the same. So you go around, you do your elevator pitch for 30 seconds to a minute. Then you have a speaker, and then you do shout outs. Well, years prior to me networking, I had read that anything that you do that's new, you have to give it 3 months, that you use your heart and soul to make it work. So whether that's a new job, a new networking group, a new exercise routine, a new diet plan, you've got to give it 3 months that you know that you have followed the directions of the diet plan. You have worked out when you're workout person. Obviously, I don't work out, so I don't even know what they're called. Trainer, trainer. When their trainer says this is what you need to do 3 or 4 times a week. So I took that concept of 3 months and I just showed up to everything possible, like at a chamber of commerce. I went to every single All Stars meeting and I set up one-to-ones all the time. I have probably had meetings with people in the weekly networking group at least 4 times a week in different capacities, whether coffee or lunch, or I end up doing a lot of walking one-to-ones or picnic one-to-ones. But so when you do that, when you start meeting people so much and so frequently, when it came time for the shout outs, I didn't have enough time to do shout outs. And I started using the people in the group. I started getting going to the chiropractor of the group, to the massage therapist of the group. I changed my insurance, my business insurance, to somebody in the group. So then when it came time for the shout outs, I didn't have enough time. So I realized, okay, well, everyone knows I'm the painter of the group. Who cares? Painting. I've said it plenty of times in the last few months. So I would then say, hey everybody, Anna Alt with LSL Finishes. We're the painter of the group. You guys know what I do. I'd like to take my time to shout out Cassidy, who gave me the best massage, or Heather Cushing with the Child Advocacy Center. She had a great event. Thank you for letting me volunteer. So that's what I mean when I didn't take my 30 seconds to only talk about myself. That doesn't mean that I didn't, because what if we were doing some really cool painting job? And again, this was me way back in the day. We were doing some cool painting job that I wanted to showcase. I would have talked about it. My point is, I just always kind of read the room and figured out what needed to be talked about that week. I did not consistently only talk about myself. Nowadays, because I'm so well known in the region, when I do my elevator pitch, there are times that I will say, hey everyone, Anna Alt with LSL Finishes. We're a design build contractor. We do kitchen, bathroom, basements, and ground up builds. What is trending in this week? We are doing an epoxy garage floor, and we're also doing a $100,000 kitchen. So I might say that one week because that's something that's trending or cool. The following week, I might say, hey, everyone, in alt with LSL Finishes, I want to talk about the best way to use your name tag. Make sure when you're at a networking group, you have a name tag that has your name, because we meet so many people and it's so embarrassing when you can't think of somebody's name. Make sure you have it on the right side. Business professionals know name tags go on the right side. So in that instance, I took my 30 seconds to do a teaching moment. That's what I mean when I say, when you are at a networking group and it's your turn to speak, you don't always have to just talk about who you are, what you do in the sense of business. You can add or subtract based on reading the room.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. I have so many things that are popping up for me. But first thing, what is it with the right side? Why do we need to put the name tag on the right side? I've literally never heard this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like putting mine on my leg or something crazy like that. I don't know. Tell me about
Okay,
it.
so in St. Charles County, there is a program called Vision St. Charles County Leadership. Years ago, I would watch these seasoned networkers, these people, these pillars in the community that were a part of, they were alumni of Vision St. Charles County Leadership. And I'm like, wow. And I would always say that it's like the University of Networking in St. Charles County. And I was a proud class member of the class of 2000 of Vision St. Charles County Leadership. And one of the things, so what it is, and I don't know the exact term of what vision is, but most municipalities, St. Louis, Missouri has one. I'm sure you're in Nebraska,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. I'm sure in Oklahoma City, there's something similar where it's a way for business professionals, whether business owners or they're in the community as pillars, learn more about the ins and outs of their community. That's what vision is in St. Charles. One of the days was business, I don't know, learning about businesses and business etiquette. And they taught that you have to have your name tag on the right side, and for a variety of reasons. One, if you think about it, when you have a logoed shirt, it's always the logo's on the left side. So
Okay.
why would you put your name tag over your logo, right? That doesn't make any sense. Two, the idea is when you go to shake somebody's hand, so pretend like you're shaking my hand right now. When you go to shake your hand, your eye goes up the right hand, and inevitably it's going to see your name tag.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what I was hoping you were going to ask about, the name tag on the right side, because that is one of my biggest things.
I mean, that is a nuance. Like, this is top tier information right here that no one would think about, especially in the digital world with the virtual stuff like that and everything. I wonder how helpful it would be if I just wore a name tag right now, like in a digital space. I feel like that could be a fun little experiment.
Absolutely. And what do they say? I think it used to be 7 points of where a human will finally know a logo. I think it might even be 10 or 11. So let's take this 7 points. You see your billboard. Somebody hears your company on the radio, on the TV, on Facebook ads. They see you in person, so they see your name tag. You want to consistently be on top of mind. That's the whole point of networking. The point is not to make a sale. The point is not to have somebody buy your product or service. The point of networking is to be on top of mind wherever you are. So when, for you, if you do a lot of virtual, absolutely have your name tag, because then people are going to see your name over and over and over again. They're going to see your logo. I'm all about it.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to test it out. Oh, I can't wait. That's so good. The other thing that came up for me when you were talking was almost what I heard the underlying message of what you said whenever you were talking about how you give an introduction when it wasn't all about you, right? You would spread, love to other people, or you would share added value. What I heard was you take up extra space, which is great. Because I feel like a lot of times in networking situations, we're really scared to speak too long and to be the person that stands up and is like, going on and on, or has an introduction that might be longer than somebody else's. And it's reminding me, have you heard of the speaker coach Vin Jiang?
I
He's
have not.
incredible. Highly recommend. I actually saw a video from him yesterday, and the whole theme of the video was dare to take 15 seconds. Whenever you're at a networking event and someone stands up and they say, hi, I'm Anna Old with LSL Finishes, and we're the painter of the group, that's about 3 seconds. But let's say someone else stands up is like, hey, I'm Anna Alt, LSL Finishes. We're the painter of the group, and we just finished up this paint for this house that had clown spots all over it. And whenever you were telling me about that circus that you went to the other day, it reminded me of this clown house. And that was just so crazy. And now, like, I'm here. So that's who I am. People are going to be so much more devoted or wanting to talk to you more because you had like this crazy thing to say, or it was a little bit different. So it just kind of reminded me, like, take up space and don't be afraid to speak a little bit longer because you deserve to be heard anyway.
Now, Mackenzie, I'm going to tell you, you got to be careful telling people to take up longer. So, I think one of the things that I am probably most proud of in my networking world is I have ran a wildly successful weekly networking group for the last 9 years, and we've been together. There's quite a few of us that have been get together for those 9 years, and it's grown exponentially through the years. But we've gotten so big that consistently we have 60 to 70 people in the room, and it's an hour and a half meeting, and we've got an agenda that we need to get through. So we've had to go down to 30 seconds. A lot of in-person networking groups, the elevator pitches are about 45 seconds to a minute, but we
Right.
don't have that time. And I can't tell you how many times that we've had to, keep the timer going because people will just talk and talk and
Right.
talk. So be careful telling people to take up too much space.
There is a fine line. I have
There
absolutely
is.
been on those calls. We're like, y'all, do you not see the 30 other people here? Like, have some consideration, have some social awareness, and like shut it down.
Yeah,
So
read the room.
right. So in a scenario like that where there is 60 people and you have 10 seconds, 15 seconds maybe to give a pitch, how do you leverage that and how do you make those types of environment actually worth it, especially if you're only getting like a 10-second little spiel?
Well, I'm gonna probably burst some bubbles for people.
Good.
Nobody's really listening. So
Right.
first of all, let's just start there. Nobody's listening. The way that you are going to make the most in a room, whether it's physical or virtual, is setting those one-to-ones up separately.
Okay.
Mackenzie, you and I, we met briefly in a virtual networking group. Thankfully, we were put into a
Breakout room.
a breakout room
Yeah.
together that we were like, okay, now I've got a couple more minutes with this person. I think that I would like to have a virtual one-to-one, and then now here we are. You everyone gets that vibe, that feeling. Ooh, I want to talk to that person. So then
Right.
you just send them a message and say, hey, can we set up a one-to-one? So again, not to burst anyone's bubble, but nobody's really listening. And I say that tongue in cheek. Also, the riches are in the niches. So find the one thing for 10 seconds that as you're reading the room, that this room is a room full of business professionals, that they know all about, they get what you're talking about. Find something unique. Or it's a room filled with women, or a room filled with people in the construction world. Find something unique in that 10 seconds, and you have to be quick about it. Maybe you have 5 or 6 prompts that like, ooh, I'm gonna look at my prompts real quick. Okay, I've got 10 seconds. In a room filled with contractors. I'm in a room filled with women, whatever it is. And you have to be quick on your feet. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think what you said was so key. And I've recently learned this, and it makes me want to like kick myself in the butt because I have been an entrepreneur for 15 years, and it's often the small subtleties that make the biggest difference that we don't pick up on. And what you had said was people again don't care about how you pay your bills and they're not listening, but the proof is in the follow-up. It's in that one-to-one after. That's where all the leverage and the momentum comes from. And I think for so long, we'll always hoard all these business cards or these contacts, and then we do nothing with them. So I think that that's so key is figuring out who it is you actually want to connect with that you think would be valuable for both, where you can each provide value, and then take that step to initiating that conversation. So I think that's where a lot of people might miss the mark.
Well, the virtual group that we met on, they do a phenomenal job of running an hour-long virtual. And one of the things that I really took away was in the chat, be able to copy and paste your social handles. And what I've done when I've been on that is I will real quick either take a picture or copy and paste all the people that are on that call.
Mm.
And I send an email and just say, hey, I know we didn't really get to talk, but it was nice to see you for a brief moment. In a virtual, or I'm sorry, in a in-person group or networking event. So let's take a networking event where you see, it's like, let's say it's a happy hour and you see multiple people, there's 50 to 100 people. And as you're walking around and you have conversations with people, you grab their business card. I don't believe you do business with business cards. I used to just throw business cards away because
Right.
I truly believe, again, I'm gonna be redundant. You do business with people you know, like, and trust. I'm not gonna do business just because I got your business card.
Right.
So I, by my own admission, would throw them away. Well, what I've started doing in the recent past years is I will keep the business cards for the next time that I have one of my do nothing days and I sit down and I have the time to email within a week. And I will just say, hey, I'll take a business card and say, it was nice to meet you at the event. I have a 45-minute commute most days. Let me know if you want to chat on the phone. And I will say 9.5 times out of 10, nobody emails me back.
Right.
But those 0.5 people, those are the people that I want to be connected, or at least want to know more about so I can be connected with. So then after I email them, I throw the business card away because again, I don't believe you do business with business cards, but
Right.
it's that reminder that I need and that sinking feeling, that nagging feeling of, okay, I'm going to use this business card to do a follow up and then I'm going to get rid of it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And that's almost like it sounds like that's the proper way to use a business card. I think so many times people don't actually know what to do with business cards because if you don't have an immediate need, like I don't need a painter right now, if you gave me your card, I'm like, okay, like I don't know what to do with it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
Oh my God, this has been so good and so helpful. I don't want to keep us past our time, but if you could leave everyone that's going to be listening and watching this with one piece of information that would change the way that they would network, what would that be?
Show up.
Show up. That's it.
And with a in parentheses, go where you're invited. When you are invited somewhere, whether it's a birthday party, a chamber lunch, a let's say your kids are on a soccer team and there's a get to know, just show up because networking is all about getting your name out there and getting to know the people that you want to do business with that you can refer. So show up. You're fine.
One moment.
You're fine. In the meantime, should we show everybody my cute kitten? Look at this. Look at this cat. I mean, can he be any cuter? Look at him.
Okay, that was so good. Just show up and go where you're invited. I think so many times that we are invited places, we're like, oh, I don't really want to go, or we find some sort of excuse or reason not to. But we're gonna remember your advice to just go because we can now reap the benefits of it, especially with all the tactical and strategical things you've told us kind of about networking. So it makes it seem a little bit less scary and a little bit less elusive, at least for me.
Well,
So
and that's I think one of the reasons why we wanted to talk is because I I believe in in-person networking. It has grown LSL Finishes from a painting company to a design build general contractor. It has grown AMAX 636. It has grown the businesses that I've owned, operated, or clients of mine. It's all about showing up
oh.
in person. Not everybody has that ability. So you can show up virtually, but I highly suggest if you don't know how to show up in person, contact me. I will give you the tools that within 3 months you're going to be able to say, wow, I'm well known now in my region, especially if you have a brick and mortar or a service-based industry. So yeah, I believe in it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so if someone does want to reach out to you, how do they connect with you online?
I, as I said earlier, and forgive me if I can't, because I can't remember the exact name of the networking group that you and I met. What's
Her
that?
nation, I think.
Yeah,
Her nation.
I would love to shout
Just
them out
Sabrina.
because I've learned quite a few things. I don't know where my social handles are. Uh, I'm on Facebook. That's my, oops, can you see me? I'm on Facebook. Facebook loves me. I love to post on Facebook. I love TikTok. TikTok loves me. AMAX636.com, LSLfinishes.com. Profify It is the app for solopreneurs. Uh, when you put this out, I will send you the screen or the copy and paste of all my socials.
Yes.
But yeah, and for those who are not in the St. Charles region, St. Louis, Missouri region, Mackenzie knows this. I have a 45-minute commute most days, and I love to talk on the phone.
Yes, reach out to her, you guys. She is a wealth of knowledge. Her and I's first phone call was so good, and I learned so much, which is exactly why we scheduled this here because I know she brings so much value. So, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I'm really excited to share this with everybody. We will link all of the socials handles. If you have any freebies or anything like that, we will link them all in the show notes. And if you have any questions, feel free to send us some DMs, emails, anything like that, and we would be happy to answer them. Thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you next time.